Hi, it's Deb from Project Life, Deb's Way. The new layout I'm going to do this time is one of Kaiser Craft's newer lines, which is called Ladylike. It's a very floral orientated line with pink roses and etc. So I've used two distress inks. I've used the pink and a sort of a turquoisey blue, which match up with the papers really well. I've also decided, because it is quite a light layout, I've used my black for my photo mats. I have used a sheet of the craft sort of like basil, which goes very well with the Kaiser Craft browns and etc. I used a full sheet of the spot, a full sheet of this colour here, but it also has a black background, which I do use some of that. I use the tiny little rosebuds, and I also, one of my favourites is the scripts. I do like using scripts, but you have to be a bit careful with scripts that your scripts run the correct way to whether you're doing landscape or portrait, and you make sure that they lay the same way when you do either one. I've used my favourite, which is the Kaiser Craft sticker pads. You have 6 sheets which are doubled up, so they're really economical. I have added to this, you do actually get some beautiful extra papers that aren't in the paper pack, and this is one of them, and I use this one here for a flip sheet that I will be doing. They also have included in their sheets a cut apart sheet, which is really good, and I've cut all of these out because I use quite a few of these in the layout. In this kit there's only one sheet which has obvious lay, which is the script which I use. So I'm just showing you here, these are my 6x4 cards, so I cut 2 with the script going this way, and I need 2 portrait ones so that the script runs this way, and 1 3x4 with the script running this way. All the other bits of this card we use as scraps, so don't, when you cut them, don't just put them into a pile. All the rest of these cards that we are using, just cut them into 4x6s, so you'll have 6 6x4s of each of these sheets, and then I will be cutting them as we go making card by card. I'm going to start my first 6x4 card. I've actually got the script, which is running this way as I showed you when I did the cutting. I'm going to use a pink card there. Now I do have a little list here. I do a lot of layering, and to save me having to think about what sizes I cut, this is my little cheat sheet that I always keep. I've got an 1/8 of an inch border, a 1/4 of an inch border, so you've got an 1/8, a 1/4, and then you've also got your 3/8. So it depends on how big a border you like. With this one, I just want a small border all the way round, so I'm going to cut that at 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. As you will see now, that just gives you the little pop of pink just behind. Now when you're using your oxides and your distress inks, you can't miss your distress oxides with your distress inks. I always have daubers, and what I've done, as I've explained before, with my daubers, I have a piece of Velcro on the back for the ones that I don't use very often, and I can actually keep my little dauber pads on the back, and then all I need to do is just pop them on. As said, it did cost me a little bit to set this up, but it's been working fantastically well. So what I need to do is get some ink on this one. I always ink my edges. I've decided on this nice turquoise because there's a lot of pink with this particular paper line. So we just ink it up. Always put your lids on your oxides when you've finished because they do dry out quite quickly. So this one will go here. I have decided to put, this came from the cut apart sheet. And I'm going to put this one here. I have got the postcard from there. Which I'm going to put here. I also have this nice little butterfly, which I like that underneath. I may get rid of that. Now, because this hasn't got a lot of whites and etc., I've gone to my die cuts, and I have a die cutting machine, and I've just chosen some cut apart roses. I've got some of these which they come, this particular die comes with 3 different sets, and I thought to add these to the layouts would be quite nice because you do have beautiful pink roses with this particular set. And as you know, I love the sticker books for Kaiser Craft, and I will be putting some of these pink roses on my layouts. I have also decided with this particular layout to actually do some mixed media. I have got a Kaiser Craft stencil here. Any stencils will do. I just sort of thought I'd do some extra little spots and things. So I'm just going to put a piece of paper there. I've got just some heavy gesso, white gesso, anything like that would be fine. So just grab some of that from your jar. Scrape off the excess. And there we have some nice dots. Don't forget to have either your baby wipes or a cloth, or you could even have a bowl of water that you can actually put your stencils straight in until you can wash them. So there we go. Now I will quickly dry Now I've finished my little gesso dots and things. I've actually stuck this layer down. I'm a bit feral, like particularly if there's anything inside things that isn't going to show, I tend to cut them out and put them in my storage bin because this is going to go over the top here. So you won't see that the butterfly is not there, but you never ever know when you might need a butterfly. Now I'm a bit AWOL when you pull these out. Unfortunately this time you do have quite a few white borders on your flowers there. Well, I don't particularly like having white bits on my layout, so I tend to cut my pieces off. I tend to get a matching distress ink or any ink. And because the roses are pink, I will actually go around the edges, because I just think it just looks a little bit better compared to having, if you have a look, to having that white round. I think it looks so much nicer not having it there. So what we are going to do now, I want to put this particular postcard. Now with my layouts, this particular card will be going up into the left hand corner of my layout, and I tend to do this as like either a title card, and I call them eye candy cards because I don't have any photographs on. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to stick this down, and I always put my tape 1/4 inch from the edge, so if I'm putting flowers and things underneath, you've got some room to maneuver. I don't like putting things off skew. I tend to line my things up so they all have equal borders. So if you've got 1/4 inch there, you would actually put 1/4 inch border here. It just makes it more pleasing to the eye to do that. Now I've decided that I'm going to use some of these sprays up here. I am going to put some of our flowers. So just make sure when you're doing your flowers that you actually make sure that your buds are facing the correct way. So you know for a fact most flowers do not grow with a bud pointing down. They tend to point up to the sky. So just take that into consideration when you're actually placing your florals. And if your buds are pointing the wrong way, just cut them off and re-layer them. As you can tell, that looks so much better doing it that way. With this particular one, I'm going to cut the end off a bit. And I may even give it a little bit of pink. I'm going to use my Tombow glue just to make sure it's attached. Just get rid of these little bits of die cut pieces out of this. Whoops, I've actually done it blue, just shows that we all do make mistakes. Thank goodness we hadn't stuck that down. We'll cut that piece of rose off of there. And there we have your first card. This is our second card that we're going to do. Our 6x4, I've done craft. Because Kaiser Craft tends to blend itself to craft cards, and craft is quite cheap to buy. So as you can tell, the browns and etc. do work. So I've done a 6x4 of this one. The polka dot, once again, I have done the 1/8 of an inch border, which is 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 to put onto here, which we will stick down. Now we've stuck the first one of the 5 3/4 by 2 3/4 down. We have now got the blue script, but we're going to use the back of that. And when you put it down, make sure that any writing actually runs the correct way. So then that goes down. And this one was cut at 5 1/2 by 3 1/2. Now I've decided, because this is such a delicate collection, I'm going to use a few small doilies that I have. I always have a stash of doilies, small ones, bigger ones. But don't forget, for Projectlife, you can actually run them off the page and cut them. But these ones are small enough that I can just put them on my... Now you always know that I use 3x4 photo mats, so that when you do your photographs you can just snip a tiny bit off. Make sure once again that you put that so you've got the same amount of border all the way around. I've decided to use this sticker here. These are the moments that we live for, but because it came from the sticker book, it was sticky, so I've decided to actually cut this one, put a backing on it, because I want to raise this up so that the photograph also makes it a bit stiffer as well. Now I'm going to use dimensional tape for this. And it's going to sit on the card just here. Now we do that so our photograph will fit underneath. So when you do that, just put your dimensional tape on the edge. And put that in the center of your doily. So if your doily is slightly too big, just turn your card round and snip any bits off. And there we have the next card. So you have your two cards like this, and as you can tell, your two frames will match up there. Now we're on to card number 3. This one here, I have used the black side, but I've used this side. I've decided that I'm going to use some of the script, which of course I've edged all of my pieces in the blue ready to go, making sure that my script is running the right way. I've given myself here a 1/4 of an inch border, so I've cut this size here is 3.5, but I have cut a small amount off there. I've decided to use this piece which came off of the large cut out sheet, and I've edged that in my blue as well. So I've decided to run this one, and I want it to go the full width of the card. So I'm going to chop the 2 bits off the bottom. I of course have got my 3x4 photo mat, which I will put in the middle of that to make sure that I've got an even border all the way around. I decided on the bottom of this to put one of the sticker from the sticker sheets here. You always have a lot of word stickers, or as you remember with Kaiser Craft, they always have on the bottom of their papers word lines, and most of the companies do that, so you can actually use one of these as well. So I'm just going to put that above like so. We'll cut the excess pieces off. And where you've cut, just put a little bit of ink just to even that off. I've decided with this one, it doesn't need very much. I'm just going to put underneath this sticker, I'm going to tuck the rose underneath, and once again I've taken the white edges off. Underneath this put one of my little die cuts in. I'm sure that if you have a die cutting machine, you would have something that you could use in your die cuts. And there we have your next card finished. This is our 4th landscape card. I have done a black piece of the card, which is 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 cut down to, which is just on the craft card. This one I decided not to do a photograph. I decided to actually do an eye candy piece. I have then got the pink. Just give it a quick edge just to get rid of the white bits and stick that down. And this one I have done 5.5, yes, 5.5 by 3.5. From the cut about sheet, they did have this lace, so I've just cut around it. I will just give it a quick edge. Seeing we've been using doilies, it looks like a doily piece. I've cut the butterfly from the center because I will be covering that up once again. I'm going to put that into the middle, maybe just in the middle. From my, it does help if I take the tape off for it to actually physically stick. There we go. Now I've decided from my sticker book to get one of the clocks. Make sure when you're putting clocks on that you actually do have your hours facing the right way. The times that I've had to peel clocks off because I haven't done that. I'm going to put that up the top here, just off center. And I've done exactly what I've said not to do. Make sure that you get the 12 sitting nicely up the top, straight. I've cut some of the roses out and cut the white bits, but if you don't have a sticker book, in this particular kit they have one of these sheets with lots of flowers that you could actually sit down and just fussy cut some of your smaller flowers or your larger flowers out and use those instead of your sticker book. You do have a second sheet there. Now with this one, I'm going to put one of my little die cuts in. Add a little bit of pink. You could use a darker pink with this. That's better. And the butterfly I cut from the center, I'm just going to put here, but I would like a little bit of more blue on my butterfly to pick up the script. And we'll put from my sticker book, I actually got one of the words from the sticker book and I've edged it in black to make it pop out. And I'm going to put that down because this one actually sits in the bottom. I'm going to put this into the bottom corner. Like so. And there we have another card finished. So at the moment your cards will be looking put these in so you can physically see, like so. And then all we have to do is put our 3x4 cards into the center, which of course you will have your two photograph mats sitting in here. So that will be our next cards. Now with this third filler card, I want to be able to have like a belly band around this that the photograph will actually just slide in. So what I'm going to do, because this is a sticky sheet, I am going to cut the card exactly the same size as what my photo mat is and stick that onto my sticker sheet. what that does, it means that the photograph won't stick to the sticky back. Of this. Just ink your belly band. Now on the belly band I wanted a little bit of lace. I'm just going to stick that on too. Now as you can see, I still have a bit of sticky here, so when I actually put this onto my by rights, that isn't going to work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of glue either side of my photo mat and attach my belly band. So hopefully, in theory, the photograph will just slide in once these stick down. So I'll just leave them to dry. I want to put here a word. So once again, because I've backed the others, I am going to back this on a tiny bit of card. And then that is going to be going on top of the belly band. So there are our cards there. I will snip that glue, won't take long. There we go. So there's the 3 cards done there. This particular card here, I've decided I want to have a flap card, and I know for a fact with my folders that the top opens from the top when you are doing your Projectlife landscape. The actual slits for the photograph is up the top, so that is why I'm doing my fold this way. So how I do that, I am going to edge my card. My flat piece, I tend to put a little tiny bit of card in to my flat piece. So I will fold and here is my flap that I will do at the top. Try and get a card that sort of matches up to the card that you're using. And I tend to do mine just slightly smaller in case you have to make a slit in your folder. You don't want to cut your plastic folders all the way across. So just make it a little bit smaller. Attach your flap to the actual top flap card. And just leave it poking up just a tiny little bit above so that your mechanism, your card sits just slightly below where the mechanism that folds down from your plastic goes. So then push your card upwards. Don't stick your bottom card to this in case your opening needs to be slit. Now what I've done with this bottom card here, I am going to put a 3x4 with just a smidgen taken off. And this is a really good way. You can either have journaling cards that are hidden, photographs, anything like that. But just take into consideration the way that your openings are with your Projectlife sleeves. So here we go here. And as you can tell, that piece is well and truly hidden. This one here, I want this little card here, which is like an Instagram photograph. Now, if you have a look on my YouTube channel, you will actually find I've actually got a tutorial on how to size your photographs on an A4 piece of photographic paper, so you can actually do batch printing, and that way you can actually measure up your photographs and get your photographs perfect for what you're doing. And I use Photoshop Publisher for that. Now on the top of this one, I wanted a little border. I'm going to put always choose happy. Because this one was a sticky sticker, you need to put a backing onto it to stop it from sticking onto your photograph, so that you can put your photograph under. But because this is a flat pocket, I won't put three-dimensional tape on it. I will actually just tape the top so that the photograph can physically slide underneath. So we will chop our ends off like so. And your drop down card, as you can tell, has already started to take shape. Now with this, I've decided I wanted dimensional tape to raise this top piece. I'm also going to put a butterfly, which I found in the kit. Because this card actually sits on top of your plastic folders, you can actually have your three-dimensional. You can also curl your butterfly up. I also have decided, because I have done some mixed media, I am going to, which of course I should have done this before I did my card, using my gesso again. Just get a little bit of gesso out. I'm just going to do a few of those nice raised spots. like so. Making sure that if you have something like that, you can get rid of that. And there we have our cards. And of course, if your plastic opening is at the top, you just attach your tape here, or if you have to make a slit in the plastic folder at the top, you just do it from here to here and you slit across the plastic. Then you slide this card into your plastic folder, you have your sticky here and you slide that through the slit and attach the tape to the back. And there you have your card. So now your one side of your Projectlife, making sure I don't hit my wet is looking like that, and you have completed one full side of your Projectlife, and you can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photographs into that layout. So now we're going to go and do the portrait side. Also, the other thing is with these kits, if you want to do a landscape and a landscape, or a portrait and a portrait, all you have to do with my kits is you could turn your card round. This piece here you would put down the bottom and just put your rose up the side. So you can actually change any of these cards to portrait. Right, we're going to start our portrait cards, so I'm just going to edge my edges. I have got a 6x4 craft, and I'm going to put the spot and the spot is a 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. This photo mat is a 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, so it's just slightly larger so that the normal photo mat will fit. Which we're going to put at the top. I've got a piece of the blue scrap, which I want at the bottom. Make sure your script's the right way, and I want that fully across with 2 even borders either side. I'm going to put one of the flowers which comes from the scrapbook just here. I'll put the together, which is out of this word which I got out of the pad here. And just up here, got some of the flags out of the sticker book. If not, just make yourself some flags out of scrap pieces of paper. And I'm just going to stick that at the top so that the photograph can slide underneath. And there we have your first card finished. Now this is the top card in the top corner. I have got the 6x4 and then I've got the 5 3/4, which just goes on top. Now with this card here, I have just got my heavy gesso and my stencil, and I've just put some circles in. The card that I cut this out of was this card here with the black, because I needed an extra, and this one is 5.5 by 3.5. Because it's only had a bit of green and etc., I wanted some more pink, so I've just gone in and I have just inked some of the pink on the top, just like that, to introduce some pink. And this one is going to go here. So I'll take these down. Now we need, once that's all stuck down, you need to pop your flowers, just attach them at the bottom. But we will put a stripe across here that comes from the pad, from the sticker sheet, like so. If you've got some washi tape, you could use washi tape, like so. Then we are going to pop flowers down. Now remember, with these we added pink. Here we go. Now we'll put so this little forever I got off of the sticker sheet. Like so. So we will stick there we go. I'm going to use a white butterfly I had in some stash. we have our next card finished. Now we'll complete the other two cards here. I've got a 6x4 which is in Kaiser Craft, 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. I have cut a smaller one with just a small border around. I have done some of my stenciling with your heavy gesso. I have got a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 card which I want to go just here. So I'm going to stick those down after I've edged them. So I will come back as soon as I've edged them and stuck them. Okay, I've stuck that down, so it's all completely stuck down. I need to stick my photo mat down. I'm sort of putting that not in the middle because I want a flower at the top here. I'm just going to slip a piece of this paper underneath so that it won't, once the photograph's in, I can stick it down. I've got a small little sign which I got off of the sewing sheets, which I've cut down to far smaller and put it on one of these strips. I have going to put this just at the bottom all the way across. Snip the edges off. And there we go. Now this one here we need to stick down, and it is 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. Once again, I've done some gessoing on here. This is 5 3/4 by 3 3/4, so you've just got a small border. I also put a strip from the sticker sheet, which I want across the top.
It's possible, but then we need to find the perfect match for reproductive needs.
You said Sam Arnold was the name of the guy who went missing? Yes. That's the guy whose car we found. Oh god. I knew he sounded familiar. I registered Sam for aptitude. Who else is on this missing persons report? Mr. Trevor, Blair, Kelsey? All of these people are missing and they all signed up for aptitude. Gracie! You know what? I thought tonight was going to be a disaster. But I actually had a
Go, and then we'll put our 3x4 photo mat down the bottom.
What the hell? Do you want to do this again sometime?
Hey, end things now.
Now I've taken the last of the big flowers and I've actually cut it down slightly. There we go. I'll put the bow bud, another bud up the top. Now this flower here, it was quite a lot bigger. When you have a look at your roses, it was this large one here. So I've actually cut some of those buds off to make it slightly smaller.
Perhaps you don't feed on the bodies of your hosts. You can just find the bird in the chamber before the eggs hatch. You can then use this fumigation spell and save Mason and eggs.
Destroy the queen, take down the colony. The queen.
And there we go.
I think I know where they are.
Now once again, because this is actually from the sticker book,
Welcome to Altitude. Ready to find your perfect. Thanks, but I'm still getting up the max.
Makes it to anyway. Maggie, how well do you know this building?
Not very well. But let's ask some windows. Oh my god, I can hear all of them. The whole colony, their thoughts are connected like a.
there we go.
I think they're in the basement. It's on level P3, but it's a secured area. Not anymore. Come on, let's hurry. The queen is ready to mate or whatever.
I've made a decision.
As I've mentioned, I don't do particularly well with insects.
Pull together here.
I think I might put this up the top.
Call out when you find Macy. Oh my god. Are those eggs? Ew. That's enough to make me go from veganish to full on vegan.
And then we will just put the piece of paper underneath. That there looks much better than having it at the top.
Macy. I found her. She's alive.
So there we go. We'll do our 3x4 cards. Now these are the 3x4s. I have done a little tiny border on each of these. This here was the rose pattern, which I've done one with a little border. This blue card here, I'm going to edge. I'm going to stick half the doily. I got this one from the sticker book, and also so I'm going to put this across here. Make sure that you get the 12 physically at the top. This card here, this was one of the postcards from the cut-about sheet. This one here was from the sticker sheet, which I've just put a bit of black around. One into the middle. Put the and some dimensional tape.
Disgusting. Mel, how is it? Is it as good as Mom's? Totally. Should be fine. She always made sure Christmas was right. Tradition going? Harry! Not there! You cannot put red next to red. We balance the colors of the walls. That red clearly is green.
Right.
Well, they found the driver who picked it up, and it sounds like he was lucky to escape just
I'm just going to take the last of the few stickers from that sheet.
It's a college town. Drunk driving is a problem. Or it was Mark, somehow, to try and warn me off. I should just stay away until I know. He's so sweet. He feels bad. I thought he stood me down. Anyway, he's visiting family for Christmas, and while he's away, I thought I should visit my old resident, see if there is a there.
I think I might just put some dimensional tape on these.
What? I still just think it's weird, call your dad by his first name. My dad was never Dexter. He was just or sir, when else at all. It's hard to demand fatherly formalities when you've completely abdicated the role. He did not. Oh, come on. He and Mom broke up. He left her out of the blue the day after your 5th birthday party. Because he didn't want to ruin my birthday. It's called being considerate now. You cut him way too much slack. You're too hard on him. I just don't want you to be disappointed. You're so trusting and you always think the best of people, especially him, and he always lets you down. What do you want this year? You know, this is our first Christmas since we have such a big heart. It's literally your heart. I just don't want to see you be hurt. Well, I will be. Because he's coming. What? What is he doing? What do I do? Answer. You have to. With the mark. Once we're here, there's music playing. Our cars are outside. Okay. Hey.
Hey.
Oh, it's really coming down out there. Come in.
Yeah. They're predicted blizzard.
I do remember my sisters and our friend Barry. Hey. Hi.
And there we have our cards finished. I might also put a butterfly.
I'm doing this because you're my son. Look at this. The only thing the collective powers of the charm which will alter the DNA and create a serum just for you. Magical.
I can't do it. I don't want to hurt Maggie or her sisters.
And there we have.
This to Maggie. She's the one who has to wear it. She's the empath. It just drains their powers. This thing will keep you alive. Like your half brother. Yes.
You hate Hunter almost as much as you hate Zach. And I'll lose Maggie.
You're 20 years old. There will be other girls. Please, just give Maggie. Call it a Christmas gift. When their powers are trying to turn black.
And there we have our 3x4s. So when you put the other cards
Well, you're gonna die.
and there we have
Christmas spirit. You feel a little bad. Not telling you.
Good brotherly affection would be cute.
So used.
the portrait layout. Here's the layout finished. I've just popped some photographs on for just show and tell. When I put my true photographs in, I'll also do my journaling for whatever photographs I have. I have also put the flat page in, and there it is there. If you have your plastic folder, you would just slide that into the top of your plastic folder, or slit the little plastic piece with a Stanley knife and just insert and stick. Till next time, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so that you'll actually get notifications when I put more YouTubes on. Till next time, thank you. Bye-bye.